Okay. Wine number three is, let's see if I can get a little clear on that. Nope, it's not showing up all that well. All right. Domaine Latour Vielle, and it is a Banyuls. So Banyuls is in the south of France in French Catalonia. It's 2 miles from the Spanish border. And like I said with the last wine, grapes don't stop at borders because borders keep moving, and borders are artificial, or whatever borders may be, in different parts of the world at different times. So this wine is made primarily with Grenache, which is native to Spain, which is Garnacha. But of course, it crosses the border and it becomes French in name. It's Grenache. This is an incredibly steep, hilly, rocky terrain. All the fruit has to be picked by hand and put in baskets and carried out by hand. No way you can get machinery in these. And there have been documentaries made just about the terrain. It's an interesting part of the world. Even though it is France, it still has a big obviously a big Spanish influence being that close to the border, but that whole part of the south of France, having visited there, I mean, there's still bullfights that happen there, and you can just see the Spanish influence in the culture there, and it's pretty fascinating. When there were some of the riots in France a handful of years ago, with the Catalans looking for independence, a big French government official went and tweeted his support and congratulations to the rebels in their quest, and he had to detract it because somebody reminded him that Catalonia actually extends into France, and that if independence had happened in Spain, well, certainly the people on the other side of the border who still really associate very deeply as Catalan or Catalonians would have wanted some independence too. So anyway, interesting place, wild-looking terrain. Banyuls. It says right on the label it's dessert wine. So wow, we haven't done a dessert wine yet out of the 43 wines since the beginning. Is it 43? Yeah, 43. And and you all asked for it, or those of you who've been around for a while asked for it, and I was trying to think of the right time to do it, and I was going to do it for beginning of the year, so people can kind of have it for sort of like the end of the holiday season. But it wasn't in the country. Big surprise. I looked around. There isn't a lot of Banyuls, and that comes into the country. And when it does come in, it's usually in limited supply. If I went and looked on 750, I think there are 5 producers that are in the U.S. market in this part of the country, and they're not. And I think only 2 of them were in stock. Some of them, the prices were sort of out of our range, and one of them was with somebody I don't work with. So anyhow. I called the importer, and it happens to be a Kermit Lynch wine. And we had a Kermit Lynch wine last month. We started the club off with Kermit Lynch via Giulia Negri, Longa Nebbiolo, if you remember. So, Kermit Lynch being one of the preeminent importers, and really started the wave 50 plus years ago of importing from small production, family-owned businesses that make wines in a low intervention, hands-off way. These are not natural winemakers. They're just people who've always sort of done it that way traditionally, which is kind of what natural wine is in a lot of respects. So family business that's been around for multiple generations, Domaine Latour Vielle, and Banyuls is interesting. It is a dessert wine, but it's not like super sweet and cloying and thick and viscous like a big port or a big sweet sherry or some of the other dessert wines. It's 15.5% alcohol, which is basically the alcohol percentage of a lot of California red wines. So why is this a dessert wine? Why did we pick it? Banyuls is universally recognized as the best pairing with all things chocolate. So that's why you're getting some chocolate this month from our friend Federica, who was our guest last month from Dolce Federica in Montclair. So I'll give you a little sampler of chocolate as a little kind of add-on, so you can have it with this wine, or you can just have it because you like it. And And you could try with other kinds of chocolate, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, sweet chocolate, chocolate cakes, chocolate candy, chocolate syrups. It really is something that should go across the board with most things chocolate. The Grenache has a kind of a red berry taste, and that kind of comes through here on the sweeter side. It's made through a process called mutage, and that's just exactly what they do. Because it's a warmer climate, Grenache gets very ripe. And once it gets to about 15.5, 16% alcohol, they introduce a neutral spirit. And that neutral spirit, kind of like a grappa of sorts or a brandy, is introduced to the wine. And what that does is it stops the fermentation. So right at that point of that level of sweetness and alcohol, that's the wine you get. So they do monitor this, and Banyuls usually comes in 15.5% on average, no more than 16%. So it is not a super sweet and cloying wine. It does have sweetness to it, and you'll see that'll be pretty interesting to go with things chocolate. I know if you're new, it's like, wow, this is kind of weird and kind of funky. But again, I wanted to introduce a dessert wine. It just sort of seemed the right time to do it since it's February. And, people eat a lot of chocolate this month for a lot of reasons. Whatever the holidays may be, or just because they're locked in, or because they're stressing out about the world order or the things going on in the world. But this is a nice combination, and it is not you'll see it's a 500 milliliter bottle, so it is it's somewhere in between. Yeah, it's probably like a 3/4 of a bottle of wine, again, because it's a little bit more intense to make. Didn't get a lot of it. In fact, when I spoke to the importer, back in December, she was like, "Oh yeah, we've got 20 cases coming into the country," and that's like cool. And that's not a whole lot for the whole area. And then, it's supposed to be in by end of December. Then it got pushed back early January. And then she called me up and she said, "We only got 5 cases in." And I said, "I'm taking all of them." So she put it on hold until last week, and then she called up and said, she said, "Oh, when do you want that delivered? Because there's someone else looking for it." And I said, "Nope, just send it on in. This is ours." So you've got all the Banyuls from this Kermit Lynch producer right now that exists, and I hope you enjoy it very much. Like I said, something different, and that's what we're here to do, to try some different things and some good things, and that's it. I'm off the road. No, Morocco was the last one. So that's it. And I hope to see you all on the 15th. Thank you. Thanks for being here.